What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about how you can find the best notes to play in your 808s to match up with your melodies perfect. I'm not talking about just getting it in the right scale. I'm talking about getting it in the right scale and then finding the notes that are going to lead with your melody the way that they should be. So let's get right into it. Okay, so we're going to go over a couple different situations here. The first situation being that you have made the melody yourself. So if you make the melody yourself, let's say this is your main melody. So what you're going to want to do when you're making your own melody is you're going to want to go for the melody that is the main part of it. The part of the melody that is playing throughout the whole beat, or at least throughout the most of the beat. So the piano is usually a main melody. And really it could be anything, but the piano is usually a good start. So you might have chords or you might have just notes and things like that. But regardless, if you have chords, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the bottom notes of the chords that you're using, and you're going to want to make sure that your 808 is following the bottom of those notes. If you just have some regular notes being played like you see I have here, you would want to follow these notes. So if I was making an 808, I might start off on an A here. I might skip over the C since it's playing so fast, and then I might go into a B here, and then maybe go into a C when we get into this area. So you don't have to follow the notes exactly. You just want to make sure when you're playing the 808, it's where that note left off. So if I put an 808 pattern right here, or if I put like an 808 note around this range in my 808 MIDI, you'd want to keep that on the B because the B was the last note that played. But if I have an 808 somewhere in this area over here, you're going to want to make sure that's on the C. So you just want to follow the notes, and you don't have to play every single note. So if you make your own melodies, that is the quick and easy way to find the perfect 808s to play in your pattern. Now we're going to go from scratch and we're going to find a melody. We're not even going to find what scale it's in, but we're going to figure out what notes are in the scale and what notes need to be used in that scale. So let's take a look at that really quick. Alright, so I'm going to find a melody that doesn't have the scale on it, and then we're just going to build the 808 from scratch, and I'm going to show you the best method for doing this. Alright, let's just take this one right here. We know that it's at 140 BPM, so I'm going to turn this down to 140. I'm just going to go in here and warp it to 140 just so that we know it's right. Then I'm going to go ahead and loop this first part right here, and I'm going to cut out the lows really quick. Alright, so you can go ahead and find the scale of the sample that you're using if you have something that can do that for you, maybe a VST plugin, or you have another way that you like to do it. Or maybe the sample even has the scale on it, so you can just go ahead and grab a scale MIDI and slide it in. Either way, you have the scale, but you don't exactly know which notes the melody is actually playing at the time it's playing. So we're going to do this. We're going to go in blind and do this without finding the scale ahead of time. And yeah, we'll just keep this 808 in here for now. So one thing that you can do that can be really useful is you can try to use out Ableton's audio effect called Tuner. It's not going to work every time, but it'll give you some notes here and there that might help you along with your 808 process. So this one looks like it's playing G, then D, then A. So we'll just start out on G then. But regardless, we're going to have to find some of the notes anyways, just in case yours doesn't work. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and pitch this up 2 octaves more than normal. And that way we're hearing the really tony part of the bass, so that we can actually hear the note better when we start to play it along with the melody. So I'm just going to make a really simple pattern really quick. And then we're going to go ahead and figure out which notes are going to work. Okay, so these G's are sounding good right here at the beginning, but I think these notes are going to be on a different note. So we're going to play with that a little bit. I feel like it's going to be a little higher up, just how the melody sounds. So let's play with this. And I think this one's going to be pitched down. I'm just listening to the melody, and I'm kind of listening to the notes in the melody versus the 808, and this is how I'm kind of coming up with it really quickly. So it sounds like it might be down a couple. I don't exactly know what note it is, so we're gonna have to play with it. I'm just gonna say E for now, and then we'll see if that's right. Okay, so actually that sounded right on to me. But we're not done yet. I'm gonna go ahead and legato these notes really quick. And now we're gonna turn this down, back down to where it should be. And we're gonna listen to it again. And there's also another trick that I'm gonna show you as well that'll help you with this. I'm gonna turn down this 808 because it's going absolutely crazy right now. All right, and that E does not sound right to me, so I'm actually gonna put this up 1 and see how that's gonna sound now. That sounds better to me. So sometimes you'll be able to hear it better when it's a lower octave, and sometimes you'll be able to hear it better when it's a higher octave. So as you can see, what I like to do is start with the high octave first and then go down and make sure everything's cohesive. So everything sounded good except for this one, so I was able just to tweak it really quickly. So another really cool thing that you can do that works a lot of the time is solo the melody, and then after like 4 or 8 bars, let the 808 come back in and see how it sounds when it first comes in. Here, I'll let it go one more time. Okay, so it's sounding pretty good. I'm still a little bit unsure of the A's that are in here though. So let's play with that a little bit more just to make sure it's perfect. So I'm gonna go back up 2 more octaves, and I'm just gonna play with this a little bit more. So that might work. Let's put it down though and double check it. Okay, so that sounds perfect to me. So it looks like we found the right notes this time, and we did it. So now to fact check ourselves, let's go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and find the scale really quick, and we're gonna make sure all those notes follow along in the scale. So there's a couple different plugins that'll find the scale for you. I like to use Scalar 2 because I already have it, and it's a really great plugin for a lot more than just finding the scale of the melody, but it's really as simple as just pulling it in there, hitting yes to detect what it's in, and now it's saying it's in D minor scale. So now what I'm gonna do is grab one of my scale midis, and I'm gonna copy all these notes here. And we'll throw it in this one, just to make sure all these are gonna line up, and it looks like they are. Okay, and there you have it. We have the notes all in the right scale, so we know that this is probably pretty correct. I want to show you one other thing that's really crazy with Ableton. So what you can do is you can have a MIDI track, but when you do this, you need to make sure you have a VST instrument loaded in. If it's just a regular MIDI track with nothing on it, it's not going to work. But if you have a VST on it, since I have Scalar on this, I could also use this lead that has Omnisphere. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this onto one of those channels right here. So I'll just put it on this piano for now. And Ableton's going to say, hey, do you want to convert this audio to MIDI? You're damn right we do. So you can just pick harmony or melody. Let's go for harmony. And then Ableton is going to go ahead and decode everything that's in this sample. And it's going to try to find the right notes that are playing at the right time. Now, it's not 100% accurate, but it's pretty darn good. And you can get it really close just by tweaking it a little bit. So I'll be right back when this finishes up. All right, boom, that finished up. So I'm just gonna cut this all the way back to that first part there because that's really all we need to see. And let's look at it really quick. Okay, awesome. So we have all these notes in here. And like I said, it's not 100% accurate. So there's gonna be like notes like this that you gotta take out and you'll have to listen to it and play it back. Yeah, so looking at this, we can see the bass notes that are being played here. We can see that it's starting on D, which is really interesting because when we put the audio effect on that sample, it said G right away. So it kind of tricked us. So we can go back and play with that first round of 808s that we were using and make sure they were lining up correctly, but let's do this really quick. All right, so we put these notes back down to D, and let's see how this sounds now. Okay, so that does sound like it's right on. So I did have it wrong before, but as you can see, when it's on G, it sounds pretty good too. But that just goes to show you, you can't really trust Ableton's tuner that much. It's good to have some guide notes with it, but you don't want to rely on it like you saw me do at the beginning. So I think an even better way would to be converting it to MIDI like we did before. So when something like this happens, I usually catch it when I'm making the beat. Because after you start listening to the beat over and over again and you start arranging the drop and things like that, you're going to notice the 808 sounds a little bit off. So I would have caught it eventually, but like I said, you got to be careful when you're trusting tuner. So let's do the little trick really quick where we let this play and make sure the D still sounds good when we take it off. Alright guys, so as you can see, I don't get it 100% right the first time off the bat. I'm human just like everybody else. But this is all going to be about your ears and training your ears, doing this over and over again until you can hear it better. And then you might need to make some tweaks down along the way to make sure that you're hitting the right notes perfectly. But anyways guys, thank you for watching all the way to the end of this one. If you like this tutorial, smash that like button for me. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because we're uploading daily videos that you're not going to want to miss out on. But besides that, I'll be catching you guys again in the next one. Peace out.